Okay, let's talk game design. It's a pretty simple game, but we'll go through the different elements that we need to include in our game. So we have our gameplay screen here. We have a movable paddle. We can move left to right. We'll do that with mouse. We need a ball to smash, not to smash the ball, but to smash the things. What are we smashing? Well, we need some blocks to smash. We need to have damage levels. You can see here different representations. So if the ball hits it once, it damages a little bit. Second time, damages it a bit more. And third time, it breaks. Or you can have it so that if ball hits once, it just breaks immediately. Unbreakable blocks also is an option to have in our game. And flexible level design. You can see here I've done a little bit of self-indulgent. I've written Rick in blocks because that is me, and you too can write your name in our game. What a dream come true, huh? Writing your name in blocks in a game. But the point here is that we have flexible level design. So we create our game in a way that's very easy to make shapes and patterns and smiley faces, or your name if that's what your heart desires. And I've chosen to go for a square block because I think that makes it a little bit easier to make patterns and to draw pictures in here. Traditionally, games, this sort of Arkanoid breakout type game uses, just jump over to here, uses this more rectangular block. And when we think of these games, we think of these lines, rows of blocks that we have to break through, because that's the old school original style for these games. But for us, we're getting more creative and having it more interesting than just those horizontal rows of blocks. Okay, and we need to make our game as a 4:3 aspect ratio. Typically, these games, these ball-breaking games, I'm not sure if that's exactly what I'm going for here, but we'll stick with it. These block-breaking games are 4:3. If you have it 16:9, then it becomes too wide across the screen and too shallow, so the ball bounces back very quickly and it's hard to jump left and right. So this gives us a good amount of depth horizontally and vertically if we go a 4:3 aspect ratio for our screen. Now, our core game design, it's always good to go through this process, even if your game's pretty simple. The player experience, well, I'm going for quick reactions. I want the ball to go fast, and I want the game to last only a short amount of time. I don't want the player to sit there like boing, doing, doing, doing. It can be very slow and tedious, so I want the ball to be like down the side there. That's what I'll be going for with my tuning. The core mechanic, obviously, is breaking blocks, and the theme I'm going for, pretty straightforward, is blocky and colorful. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to pretend that this is an alien spaceship and this is the Earth that we're bouncing around. Not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go straight forward. Just make something that looks vibrant and interesting. The core game loop, it's pretty obvious, but again, it's good to remind ourselves of this. So we're practicing this part of our design. Should always be able to explain your game very simply in a sentence or two. Smash all the blocks without letting the ball drop in order to progress to the next level. I'd like to show you an article just very briefly, this Gamasutra article. If you're not familiar with Gamasutra, it's an excellent website, lots of resources for game design and game development. And here we have a really lovely article by Mark Nelson in terms of a lot of the fundamentals of Arkanoid breakout style games. I call it Arkanoid style games, so that was one of the original games. Breakout is one of the famous versions as well. And you can see all these different elements, different options, bombs, shields, invisible blocks, progressive blocks, multiple paddles, multiple balls, different speed, different tuning. There's lots of ways that you can take this game. It doesn't just have to be exactly the same as what I'm making, and I'd love for you to do something that's different to what I'm making, tuning it and adding more flair to it. The play speed, maybe you want your game to be very fast or very slow, a wide paddle, a narrow paddle, have different sizes and shapes of paddles, so it bounces in different directions. Paddle friction, the ball says lots and lots, and I want to just draw your attention very briefly to level design. There's lots of different ways to lay out our level. This is the traditional wall that most people think of when they think of breakout style games. We can have a central mass where the ball can go around the outside, columns to bounce up, mesh, checkerboard type things, bumpers, peekaboo where things drop down in and out. So lots of different ways that we can lay it out, and lots of pretty images that we can create, lots of shapes and stuff, as I have done by putting my name in there, as you saw before. So lots and lots of things that we can do with this game. I've given you a link to that article against this lecture for you to check out as well. Here is a time for a challenge, your game theme. Flex your design muscles a little bit at this point. Think of a theme for your game. You might want to go something a little bit more interesting. Maybe it's you versus your friends, and all the blocks are little images of your friends' faces, and you smash them up, and hey, that'd be fun. Although maybe ask your friends first, because I don't know, your friends might not enjoy that, as they might not think it as funny as Rick thinks that it is. So anyway, come up with a theme for your game and to find a placeholder background image. So your game might have a space kind of theme and some sort of space background image. Star Wars or Star Trek or Space Invaders or Space Star War Trek Invaders. Whatever it is your heart desires. I'll be giving you the background image that I've created for mine, which is basically just our course image. If I do that, yep, just our course image that is also my background screensavery thing here that I've gone and turned into blocks. So just basically that in the background there. And last step is to think of a name for your game. Come up with a name. Here are some creative design challenges for you. When you're ready, dive in, take those on, and then when you're completed that, jump into the next lecture and let's get started making our game. See you again real soon.